Good morning, everyone. Thanks for jumping on with me today. I'm super excited to be able to share with you some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. My name is Jeremy Jenkins, and one of the master trainers of the company. It is my pleasure to be able to, like I said, share some of the wisdom that I picked up over the years in my business, and that helped me to have success all over the world and several countries, growing teams into the tens of thousands of people. And it all has to do with this concept of prospecting with power. Okay. That's the idea, is that we're prospecting with power here. And why is that important? Well, because we really, when we're getting started with this kind of thing, it's actually one of the major problems that brand new people or even more experienced people run into is, how do I get people to join my business, right? And the whole magic of doing networking is the leverage that comes with having a team, right? Because in sales, you have to go and you have to talk to literally hundreds and thousands of people over time, or on a daily basis. You're selling, right? And it's like a one-time transaction. You just got to keep that customer flow coming. So you might have repeat customers and so on, but those repeat customers aren't out trying to build as well, right? They just come back every once in a while. And the secret is, we need to leverage. We need to be able to not have to depend on ourselves, because if we're in sales, the second we stop selling, we stop making money, right? And that nobody wants that. Or if we're in a job, the second we stop working, we stop making money, and nobody wants that either. I mean, we want to get to that point where we have something residual happening, but not just residual. It needs to be leveraged residual, which means that it continues to grow and compound over time, because there's shared interest, not just what you're doing, but what your team is doing. Right. And so you start out in the beginning. Yes, it's a little bit harder, because you do have to do this prospecting. But the goal is to get to a point where you eventually can stop. Right. You don't have to continue prospecting. You don't have to continue inviting, because you now have a large enough team that's out there doing it for themselves, and it just kind of starts going, perpetual, right? Going by itself. That's the goal. But in the beginning, we need to do that. We have to talk to people. We have to get people involved, so that it jumpstarts it, it gets it going. So what we're going to teach today is about prospecting with power. The idea of making that initial part where you got to start out talking to some people and make that be a little bit more successful, right? To where people will actually want to join with you because they see the value in it. Okay, so let's jump into this. So the idea, being in control. Okay, to me, the most important thing in prospecting is maintaining the energy, right? I want the prospect to know that I am in control and that I am going to build this with or without them. I'm not trying to get their approval, and I don't need them to be in my business if they're not the right kind of person, right? You got to maintain that energy, that power. Just show them. You know what? I'm the one with the solution here. I'm the one that has the way for people to move forward. I have the way for people to retire early. I have an answer for you to become part of the 5% of people that actually are successful in life and have freedom and all of that, right? I have a way, right? That way is not in some other thing, like getting a second job, or going to school for years and years to just try and advance in your career, and hope that over decades of work you might get a raise, or get I don't know, what's the word? Get up, just build up to a new position in the company, right? Make it all the way up to VP or something, right? That takes too long. It's not going to solve your problems for today or the short term. What is going to solve your problem for today is this idea of creating a home-based business with all its perks and tax write-offs and everything else, and leverage residual income. That's the solution. It just is. We know that. And so we have the answer. We have the solution. We have the cookie here. Okay. So we don't need their approval. We know what we have. We don't need them in our business. if they don't want to, or if they're not going to do it, right? We need to believe in that and show it as we're having the conversations. Okay, so let's talk about the defining point. So there's always a point in that conversation where it's going to define that balance of power. Okay, so this usually happens when either the prospect or you make a power move, right? So typically, when the prospect backs away, okay, and the majority of networkers fall for this, and then they start that journey of losing power instead of maintaining it. What do I mean by that? Let's go through this real quick. So here's some examples, okay? So the prospect might say to you, I don't think I can do this kind of business. So the novice, right, the brand new person, what they'll typically do is they'll go into like a begging mode, right? They'll say, well, why not? You know a ton of people. You'd be great at this, right? Now, you might think that's a normal answer, right? You might think, oh, what's wrong with that? Right? Yeah, it's true, right? They probably know a lot of people. They'd probably be great at it, right? But what you've done is you've increased the prospect's resistance. You've lost your power by treating it that way, okay? By going, oh, why not? All of a sudden, now you're in a position of almost begging them, like, oh, I'm going to lose the sale, right? Oh no, I'm going to lose them, right? No, you're trying to convince them at that point, okay? And it's not as good. All right, let's look at example number 2. The prospect says, I need to think about it, right? Pretty typical, okay? Well, what would a novice do? The novice is trying to treat it like a sale, right? What to think about? We're going to be rich. It's wonderful, right? You start to try and convince, you're trying to get them to do it right now, okay? Because, in sales, that's what happens, right? If you don't sell in that moment, you probably lost them. Okay, and if you don't sell, they're going to go off. They're going to think about it. They're going to start getting buyer's remorse and all that stuff, and they're not going to come back. You're going to lose them. So that's what happens, right? And so a lot of people will treat it like a sale, like I got to get it right now, and it's not effective. Okay. Example number 3: the prospect says, "I need to learn more about it." Well, what is the novice going to say? The novice might say, what more is there to learn? I just gave you the presentation. It's amazing, right? But again, all these examples show how you actually lose power in that conversation, right? Because you've gone into an idea or a feeling of, no, don't leave me, right? Don't say no. You're kind of, not begging per se, but trying to save the sale. In other words, okay. How about this one? Prospect says, I need to ask my spouse, right? And the novice might go, oh, they're going to probably say no. You should do it right now before you get cold feet, right? Because your spouse will probably try and talk you out of it, right? And it's like you're trying to save the sale again, right? You're just trying to get it now because if you don't, right, and you're not expressing confidence. You're not expressing, surety. You're not expressing, hey, I have the cookie here, right? So it all comes down to power and posture, right? You need to always maintain the power in the conversation. This is when you use your posturing to give your prospects a different and qualified perspective. So you don't want to be rude, right? You just want to maintain that power. So let's take a look at some examples, or the same examples, but with power and posture answers. All right. So here's example number 1. The prospect says, I don't think I can do this kind of business. And the expert says, you know what? You're right. Hey, do you know anyone else that has been affected by the financial situation that could maybe use some extra money? Whoa. Can you feel that? Can you feel the posturing there? Can you feel the maintaining of power, right? It's like, oh, yeah, you don't think you can do this? You're right. Oh, why did I even think of you, right? Not being rude, but, oh, you're probably right. This isn't for you. Do you know anybody else, right? Know anybody else that really could use some extra money? Why don't you name some friends? What does that do? It makes it so that person now is feeling a little bit foolish, right? That person now is kind of going, oh, this is so good that my friends or somebody else is going to get it. He's so sure of himself, or she's so sure of herself that wow, okay, wow, this must be something pretty awesome then. Okay, and what it does is, yeah, maybe in that moment you won't get the sale, right? In that moment, you won't get them to sign up. Okay, in that very moment, because now they're feeling a little, sheepish. Now they're feeling like a little, right? What did I just do? Right? Because you're maintaining the power, you're maintaining that confidence, you're maintaining that this thing is the bomb, right? This thing is the answer. This thing is so amazing. And oh, you don't want it? Well, okay, yeah, let's go talk to your friends about it then. They'll do it. Right? And you make them a little bit jealous, right? You're kind of putting that little fear of loss in them. And so now they're thinking about it, right? They're thinking about it. And it may not be, that same day. It might take them a few days or a week or whatever, but it's gonna, like, because you maintain that posturing, it's gonna eat at them, right? It's gonna kind of get in their subconscious, and they're gonna be like, okay, right? And they're gonna be curious, and they're gonna watch it, and at some point they're gonna go, all right, I'm in. What do we do, right? So it's really awesome. Now, same thing with example number two. I need to think about it. And with all the posture in the world, you say, yeah, great. Go take your time and let me know. Not a problem at all. I'm so busy with trainings and working with my team. The only, I just don't even have time, right? I can only work with people that are absolutely sure they want to do this. So that's great. Go think about it. Take your time. Let's talk, right? Let's talk when you're ready. Great. What does that do? You're maintaining the posture. You're maintaining the power. You're saying, I got the answer. I've got the solution, right? And if you need to go think about it, that's fine. It's not going to bother me, right? I'm going. I'm doing this. It's awesome. And they're going to be like, okay. And they're going to want to come back, right? At some point and go, yeah, okay. All right. What about example number three? I need to study it more, right? And the expert's going to say, great. That's great. We have a bunch of videos online. I suggest that you watch them all before you decide, so you can be sure that this is the right thing for you, right? We do so much training that we need to be sure that this type of thing is a good fit for you before we start. And so that's totally fine, right? I mean, we don't have to close them right then. We don't have to convince them that they're signing up right today. I mean, no, we need to respect them, right? We need to respect and who wouldn't want to understand it, right? Who wouldn't want to study it more? It's very rare that you actually get somebody that, like, I see it, let's go, right? Those are, few and far between. But, the average person, a normal person, of course, they're going to want to, do some due diligence, and they're going to want to think about it, and they're going to, understand it a little bit more, and that's fine, right? Obviously, you don't want to, have them take too long, and so in the follow up, right, and kind of like, hey, okay, I've shared with you all this stuff. Are you willing to do this or not? Right? You're ready to change your life, right? And you do follow up meetings. You don't want to just drop it, of course, but no problem, right? Let's give you the videos. Let's get you, and of course, motivation of, you send them the video and then they like don't watch it, right? That's a whole other topic, but follow up and making sure they actually did watch the video and what they thought about it and everything. But the idea is, yeah, hey, that's great. Study it, learn it, understand it. That's all part of it, right? I mean, you're going to need that if you decide to sign up anyway. You need to know what you're talking about, so that's fine. Go for it, right? And we'll be here. We're doing it. We're rocking it. We're doing the meetings. We're having success. So when you're ready, jump on board and let's go. Example number four, same thing with I need to ask my spouse, right? The expert is going to say, perfect. That's a great idea, because before I spend a lot of time training you, I want to make sure this is a good option for you and your family, right? We'll make sure, she or he or whoever is on board, right? That, hey, yeah, let's do it. Let's get them to a meeting. Let's get them on a call. Let's explain it so that everybody's on the same page. That nobody's fooling anybody. Of course, it's always better to have the couple doing it together if they can, right? Or at least supporting each other. So that's not a problem at all, because we're sure We have the confidence, we have the posture, we have the cookie, right? We know what we've got, and it works, and it's working for so many people, and it's changing lives, and all that. And so, absolutely, talk to her, talk to him, see what they think. Let's get them on board as well. Right? Let's answer their questions so they're not, feeling left out or anything. Yeah, absolutely right. No problem at all. Okay, so the question then is, does it work? Right? Because you might be thinking these answers won't convince them to join in the moment. And it's true, right? That's absolutely right. That's the whole point. We don't want to pressure people into signing up today, right? Just to have them quit tomorrow. I mean, that's not okay. We don't want that. We would rather have them take their time and and do their due diligence and study it and figure it out and everything, so that when they do join, they're in, right? They're good. They don't have that buyer's remorse. They're ready to rock and roll. And so yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive for anyone that's been in sales. It's kind of, if you're not 100% sure yourself, then you might struggle with this concept a little bit, but it does work, right? It absolutely does work to just be 100% sure. Yes, this is awesome. Yes, it works. The product's amazing. Compensation plan is the most awesome thing I've ever seen. The way it's working, and the infrastructure, and who's in charge of the company, and the fact that it can go all over the world, and the everything. I mean, there's so many awesome things to it, right? And so we just know. We are just convinced this is an amazing answer to a lot of people's problems. And and I would even go beyond and say, hey, it's universal, and the product is something for everybody. It's not just for certain individuals. I mean, there's so many perks and benefits to this. And so we have the answer, we have the solution, and just exude that, right? Just have it bubble out the pure 100% confidence that we have the cookie here. Just needs to come out of you, and your voice, and your expression, everything. It just needs to show that, yeah, this thing is the coolest thing ever, because it is, right? And they need to know that. So in conclusion, despite what you may be thinking, these tactics work, so that about 70% of the indecisive people actually change their minds and will enroll, right? And when they do it, it will be because they decided to, not because they were forced to, or felt uncomfortable, and all that. So it's more likely that they will actually stay and work it, right? And think about that. 70%, right? That's huge. So you're talking to a bunch of people, right? And they're checking it out. Yeah, the second you beg them, or the second try and convince or whatever, you lose it, right? The power goes back into their hands, and they feel it, and they're like, ha, I caught him, right? This is actually a scam, or this is actually not something that they're 100% sure about. But if you can maintain the posture, maintain that power in the conversation, show them we have the answer, we have the solution, we have the cookie, we have all the things that will make this work for you anywhere in the world, right? Pretty much. Wow, right? Why wouldn't they? And even if it takes them a few days or a week or whatever to finally pull the trigger, when they do it, it'll be because they want to, right? Because they're ready. So with that, my friends, I know this one was short and sweet today, but I think it was powerful, and I like it that way sometimes, right? Where we just do a powerful concept that can stick in your brain, and you can start to apply it, because it literally, this is the key component: recruiting, getting people to come in and be part of your business. It's the hardest part. And if we can help you with that, if you can start recruiting and having more success with your recruiting, in the beginning, and start your business, then over time, then you can, move away from the prospecting. You never want 100% lead prospecting. There'll always be a place for that, right? To kind of just keep it going. But you can transition more into the training, and the working with your teams, and doing the three-way calls, and all that stuff, instead of trying to recruit for you, right? And so, but I admit it's one of the hardest things, is that initial jump starting your business. So hopefully with this, having that posture and knowing 100% that you're in the right thing at the right time, and doing that in your voice, you'll get more of those people to say yes, right? And it'll be successful. So anyway, with that, I'll let you get back to your Saturdays. Thanks so much for jumping on with me today, and we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.